Morning. It's a breezy, cool one out here at the river house, and it's one of those days where we're just taking care of a bunch of crap. Probably going to start with this thing. You might remember years ago when I rappelled down over a snowy bank, and then we hauled this thing 1/8 of a mile up the side of a cliff. It was a friend's four-wheeler. He sold it. Kid never transferred the title. Then it got stolen. Ghost ridden off a cliff in Columbia Falls. Well, hungry horse. Anyways, it's been sitting at my place ever since. I'm going to go ahead and repair the lower A-arm so that it can be ridden again. We already know that it runs. Starts and runs just fine. And then I'm going to sell it and hope that it doesn't end up calling this guy across the state once again to pick up his crap. And that's the four-wheeler we had on the farm growing up as a kid. It's been sitting covered but unused for, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. I know it runs just fine. I don't know, it's sort of family. So I just can put it under the log house. That's the goal. We cut a bunch of wood, not very successfully. There's a video of that up there somewhere. Got a bunch of cedar. These were just too small. There's bags of sawdust for the mud holes, and then if it all goes properly, I want to build a lean-to shed for that machine right down in here somewhere so that I can park it out of the weather for the winter. That's the goals for today. Where is it? Where is it? I hear the train coming. There it is. Let's get that thing. Let's get it flipped up at least and find out what it's going to take to weld it. Alright, so this is a Polaris Trail Blazer. It's a 2-stroke machine with the automatic oiling component, and when she was ghost ridden off the mountain, she took quite a blow on this side, eventually snapping that right there. Doesn't look too complicated. I believe the ball joint is up inside there, and I think this is just like a little helix joint. I'm hoping it'll pop right off without like resorting to a pickle fork or anything, at which point I can just clean this up and weld it up there. Not going to be perfect, but she's definitely a far from perfect machine. But yeah, this got broken as well. So, okay. Let's see if we can get that off really quick. And if we can, we'll get to welding. Well, that was really a non-issue. Gotta remember, that side was up. Oh, it's a tapered hole. It's not that big a deal. So, from the crack, it wants to sit like that. It appears from the other side, though, it should be sitting kind of like that. Either way, this shouldn't be super difficult. Just clean it up and get the welder out. We'll start zippity-zapping. So maybe clamp something along here this can sit on. Adjust my angle and fill that. It's obviously going to stick that wheel out slightly. Alright, I got the little Hobart out, bottle strapped up. So, on further examination, it is not supposed to be up like that. It's supposed to be down like that. I briefly considered attempting to weld it on there and then bend it. But I think for a crooked nose old girl like this, I think I'm putting in a little too much effort. So I'm gonna tack it on like that. Yeah, that's the right way around. I'm gonna tack it on flat like that, and we'll just use that crack to fill it with weld. That'll be good. Okay, so I built it up a little bit. I welded closed the ends of these pipes in an attempt to just give everything a little more strength. Okay, I'd say that's good. What do you think about this? Chain this side to the backhoe and try pulling with a come along over here. See if I can straighten the nose. I'd like to straighten this too, but I don't want to take it off and I don't want to break it. We'll see how pigeon-toed she looks when we get it back on that shock. From underneath the Hungry Horse Dam. Obviously, I'll include the link in the title and maybe up in the front corner somewhere. Okay, looks pretty good. Alright, found another problem. The shift lever broke off. Don't know, I can't get it past the engine. This looks factory bent, but I'm beginning to think it's supposed to be straight. This thing appears to be tipped out some, which would make sense. So I'm gonna get a big punch and we'll see if we can knock this over a little bit. It still looks factory though, but there is not enough room to clear that motor. I think the motor mount has gone a little crooked. Okay. Alright. So I think right down there is our issue. See that motor mount? Girl, your pop-pop's crooked. Well, the rear end, it's got a weird sweep to the swing arm. Again, that all looks factory. The chain is a little misaligned. Not super bad. Okay, let's see if we can straighten that motor mount. That's the motor mount. It doesn't appear to be bent. I think it's all in that. As you can see, that looks really bent. So by shoving that motor over, do I now have room for this thing? No, not really. Where the hell is it supposed to be? I think that's what we're gonna do. And yeah, you bet I'm just gonna weld the crap out of that. Why wouldn't I? Might have to find some pipe and sleeve it. Hope I don't burn that up. Yeah, just like that. So I'm thinking I straighten this until that motor mount fits with those holes. If it took that kind of blow, it's entirely possible this bar has moved a little. So maybe I put a wallop right there and just lean her out slightly. This thing still seems to be leaning out. It should be in just a bit. So we'll do that. We'll get that motor mount straight, that tab down there, and we'll get this welded together like the plates on the Titanic, and it will never again break. Okay. So we got that done. We got that straight. Everything is clearing for the most part. And I think we're good to go. So obviously with no recoil starter left on the thing, I'm sure that battery's toast. So I'm gonna have to get a battery up here and we'll try jumping it. Well, unfortunately I can get it to fire, but not stay running. Not unless you're adding fuel down through the carb. I absolutely don't care enough about this thing to be wanting to take the whole damn thing apart for a machine I don't actually need. Alright, maybe I'll take the carb loose one time. Flip it over and see if the float's stuck. Something like that. Well, I took the carb out of it, pulled the float bowl down, cleaned everything out, blew out some of the jets. It'll now run and rev up, but it won't idle, and it really only wants to run when the throttle is pinned. I just don't do 2 cycles. I don't have a use for it. I know one of those big YouTube channels wouldn't have stopped until she was pristine, but this is reality, and I got a lot more important things to be working on. But I got a video of it running that I can show a buyer, and obviously it's now completely usable. So, don't know. Pass it on to some teenage kid who wants to strip her down and make a ripper out of it.